of Grief, Season 2, still on the path, still on the grief journey. So, since we're here, let's talk about it. So, right now, it's the end of 2024. And instead of wrapping up a year of my podcast, or actually reflecting on the year 2024, of course, the date, February 23rd, 2024, will live forever with me as the day my world got colder. I've come to learn grief, it's not a competition. Who has more grief or less grief, or how long you've been in it. It's just a path that you're on. And actually, it just goes on forever until you, I, me, all living creatures cease to exist in a physical form. And I'm not saying that to depress you or bring you down. It's just a fact of life. And we really don't even know what life is. And I think grief helps us or makes us question everything about life. And when you think about our own lives, you start to realize how significant or insignificant they are. Because even in the last 2,000 years, how many people do we actually remember or still talk about? Of the tens of millions, hundreds of millions, or even billions of people in just the last 2,000 years who have existed. How many can you name right away that we still talk about? And it's not that our lives are insignificant or that the memories will fade. It's just that we matter now. And sometimes we lose sight of that mattering right now. Because when we get to the end, we look back and we remember things that really mattered. So, what I want to do briefly, instead of reflecting on my grief journey for the last 10 months, is reflect on my life. And maybe me doing that will inspire you to reflect on your life, no matter where it is. I've been around for many decades, and honestly, half a century, which sounds scary, but when you get to the half century mark, you don't really think anything about it. You think, oh, this doesn't feel like I thought it would feel. So things that I reflect on in my life journey. Of course, I have to start with Heidi, a woman I've known for 30 years. Yes, 30 years. We were married 29 and almost 30 years. We missed our anniversary, June 18th, 1994, by 4 months. But I've known Heidi, and we were a couple for 30 years. I remember we became friends. We met at a little public access studio in Santa Monica where I was working. Her and her mom were doing shows, and we just got to know each other. She was a producer. I was a director supervisor, and she had done some really fun shows. She became an intern where she learned everything, and she was great. I mean, she could write, she could direct, she could run a camera, she could do everything. She was amazing. And we actually did a documentary together, Tomorrow Never Knows, The Impact of Child Sexual Abuse, which came out in 1997, just after my daughter Zadie was born. And it got nominated for a local LA Emmy, Los Angeles Emmy Award. We didn't win. We lost out to a news station. But I remember we were at the award show just maybe 4 or 5 months after my daughter was born. And we're sitting in the back. My wife had a beautiful black gown, and my mother-in-law was there, and I was there. And my wife was in the back of the theater breastfeeding Zadie. And we got so nervous when they called our category what we were going to do, because we were all going to go up. And it just also showed you the commitment my wife had to my daughter, and how she played a major role in her life. I think they were like, I didn't watch a show called Gilmore Girls. They were just, sorry, they were best friends. Besides her mom, they were the bestest friends you could ever see. And that I'll remember forever. So going back then, we met, and then I remember the end of 1993, we just went on our first date, and one of the things she did was, and she laughs, and I laughed about this, and she laughs about the story later, that she kissed me. We would go to coffee shops together, play some chess, and have some fun as a couple. And we were standing outside of Lula's Alibi in West Los Angeles, and it was at night, and we were saying goodnight. And it's funny because I had forgotten what happened. We were just dating occasionally, and then there's one time we were in the car, and she just kissed me and then got out of the car, and she told me she was so scared that she shouldn't have done that. And I remember she told me later, I said, no, I'm so glad you did. Because later after that, when we were standing outside at night against my car, I pulled her close and I kissed her. And she said she was so glad I finally did kiss her. And she remembered the outfit I was wearing, the dungaree jacket I was wearing. And I tell you, it was magical. So I kind of count that as our first kiss on December 8th, although she might kiss the other one that she, when she stole a kiss from me. And I'm so glad she did that. But we dated. I asked her to go steady. I asked her to marry me on air at the TV station where I was working. I had a cool video put together on Valentine's Day. That's another story for another time. But I reflected on the memories of my life when I first moved to Los Angeles in 1988 and everything I had done that led up to the meeting of my wife, and everything that happened in my life was meant to be so I would meet her. So for you, can you look back on your life and see all the things that happened that led you to the moment where you are now? All the circumstances, all the situations, all the people, everything you did or didn't do got you to where you are now. And unfortunately, we are in grief, but for some reason, everything has led up to this moment. So think about what you've done and think about how you got here. We'll see you in 2025. Be well. Monday, I'm in carpentry. Tuesday, I'm a cook. Wednesday, writing poetry. Thursday, I'm a crook. Friday, I'm in politics. Saturday, I'm at peace. Sunday, I'm just living life in the parentheses. In the parentheses.